we have this incongruity of raising our left hand. I state your name, having been elected to the position of the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan, do solemnly swear to abide by and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines and of the party, to keep faith in and put into practice the 5 basic principles of PDP-Laban and the basic objective of federalism, to perform my duties to the best of my ability and capabilities, without fear or favor, with the aim in view of furthering the objectives of the party and advancing the interests of the community to which it is dedicated, and to conduct myself in a manner befitting a good and true PDP-Laban member, so as to bring honor and prestige to the party, and that I take this pledge without mental reservation or purpose of evasion. So help me God. Congratulations.
Good, sir. Go back to your seat, sir.
Mr. Chairman, at this juncture, may we request Party President Secretary Alfonso Cuse to deliver a short message.
Thank you very much. Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, party mates, maraming salamat po sa tiwalang ibinigay ninyo sa akin at makakaasa po kayong I will live by the oath that I took in front of all of you today. Congratulations also to the other elected set of national officers and committee chairpersons. The war on drugs and criminality advocated by our party chairman, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, enjoys overwhelming support from an overwhelming majority of Filipinos. The Filipinos now feel safer. They can go around without fear. They can use their cell phones, ride the jeepneys using their cell phones without it being snatched. Despite the success of his advocacy, however, there are groups that have unfairly judged and criticized President Duterte. Some have even gone to the extent of misinforming international organizations in the hope of persecuting the President of the Republic of the Philippines. The successful advocacy against drugs and criminality has been vilified and publicly maligned by those who have outside perspective of the situation. They don't have the first-hand experience on the suffering of the Filipinos felt prior to the advocacy started by the President. Critics will always be present in any administration, and we welcome them as long as their criticism is based on facts alone and not political propaganda. We in PDP-Laban appreciate what the President is doing. His achievement in his feat is unprecedented. So I rally this great party in support of our own chairman. Let us help him, particularly in this coming election season, wherein mudslinging and denigration is prevalent. This National Assembly should unite to advance and support the war against drugs and criminality advocated by our party chairman, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And I would like to move this as a motion, as a resolution, to be adopted by this Assembly to support the President in his fight against drugs and criminality. There is a second motion.
Mr. Chairman, there is a motion from our party president for this National Assembly to pass that resolution in support of the President's fight against drug and the accomplishment of this administration in regard to this purpose, which is duly seconded. May I move for its approval, Mr. Chairman?
The motion is denied.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce to you the President of the Republic of the Philippines, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Kindly sit down. Salamat po. House Speaker Lord Alan Velasco and the honorable members of the House of Representatives, Executive Secretary Salvador Medialdia, Senator Bongo, PDP-Laban Vice Chairman and Energy Secretary Alfonso Cuse, Labor and Employment Secretary Silvestre Bello III, Cabinet Secretary Carlo Nograles, Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade, Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harin Roque. Nawala sila dyan. Chief Presidential Legal Secretary Salvador Panelo. Can you stand up, please, so that we can see your attire today? It's a working attire. Metro Manila Development Authority Chairman Benjamin Abalos Jr., Presidential Assistant for Visayas, Mikey Lloyd Dino, Presidential Advisor for Northern Luzon, and PDP-Laban Vice President for International Affairs, Raul Lambino. Presidential Advisor on Political Affairs, Jacinto Paras. Presidential Advisor on Overseas Filipino Workers, Abdullah Mamao. Tol. Pampanga Vice Governor, Lilia Pineda. Governors, city, and municipal mayors and vice mayors in attendance. So we cannot name all of you. So, welcome. PDP-Laban national officers and members, then again, welcome for today's event. Fellow workers in government, ladies and gentlemen. I have a speech here of 2 pages, but I'd like to talk about just a little. Give me time. Half of what this would take to talk about the dynamics of itong PDP-Laban. But basahin ko na lang to kasi ginawa naman, kaawa naman yung gumawa nito. Probably working overtime. I would like to thank all of you, my dear party mates, for answering the call to convene the National Assembly of PDP-Laban. Your presence here sends a clear and resounding message to everyone that our party is as strong as ever and that we are united in further consolidating our ranks until the end of my term and beyond. I forgot to, nakasum lang sila, si Senator Tolentino pati si Senator Bato. Despite all the challenges that we are facing, your unwavering support for this administration's priorities, especially our campaign against illegal drugs, terrorism, corruption, and poverty, is truly reassuring. I am grateful for PDP-Laban's continued trust and confidence in my leadership. I also deeply appreciate your commitment to support whatever my decision may be for the 2022 national elections. Alam mo itong mga gagagon to, isigway ko na lang. They keep on threatening me with lawsuits and everything. Trillanes and itong si Carpio and his ilk. Panay ang takot sa akin na mademanda ako. Sabi ng batas na kung presidente ka, vice-presidenta ka, may immunity ka. Adi, tatakbo na lang ako ng vice-presidente. And after that, tatakbo ulit ako ng vice-presidente at vice-presidente at vice-presidente. Itong mga hole in the head, panay ang takot sa akin. Ito, Trillanes. Akala mo naman, magsasalita siya ng ordinaryong tao. You know, I'm a lawyer, and they can never acquire jurisdiction over my person. Not in a million years. Alam mo, if I may just repeat the requirements of the Constitution, particularly the phrase due process. Alam mo, lahat ng treaties goes to the President. Then if he affirms the contents, dipirmahan niya, tapos padala niya doon sa Congress for the ratification. Then, iyang papel na yan, babalik uli sa Presidente. Then the President issues the order to the Bureau of Printing to include this particular treaty in the official gazette. That is the requirement of the law. Ang ginawa nitong mga mukoy, right after the President Estrada signed the treaty, in their maybe over enthusiastic, I really do not know, nilipad kaagad nila doon sa Rome and appended it in the Rome Statute sa ICC, bypassing the President and the Bureau of Printing. Na in Tovera versus Enrile, Supreme Court said that failure to publish a law or a treaty, whatever it is, especially a penal law, if you do not publish it, it becomes fatal. It is as if there is no law because it is only in publishing it in the official gazette that the Filipinos are informed that there is an existing law which says this, that, ito. Failing that, there is no law at all. Walang batas. So if they are invoking the Rome Statute, ito si Carpio, ito bright naman ito, bright na bugok, marami yan silang gano'n eh. Sobra ka bright, bugok. But I don't think Carpio is bright. Kababayan ko yan eh. Ano lang, mapurma. Kaya gano'n. Ito si Trillanes, sige, yo. They cannot. They have to, this is, treaties shall form part of the law of the land. So treaties that are ratified, then published, approved by the President, dito it becomes a law. Failure to do that, there is no law. And so, ano mang dinadaldal nila, they have to go into the process. Because if they insist on trying me on the basis of that Rome Statute, which we appended illegally because there was no publication, ang maglabas niyan, I would go to this Constitution which says that no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So I will transfer that phrase in my case. I was deprived of a due process. Kung ako na sa gobyerno, hindi ko alam itong putang inang mayroon pala itong batas na ito. Sila lang itong mga left, pati sabay ng mga dilawan. The dilawan and the left were the ones really pushing for it. in the process, they stumbled. So wala, I can always go to the Supreme Court and say, I was deprived of due process. Hindi naman nila ako sinabihan. How can I be, because it is only during the publication that every Filipino is put on notice that there is a law, especially if it is a penal law. Kailangan mo talaga i-publish. Failing, then there is really a fatal flaw in the process. Nawala ako doon. Ano bang paragraph yun? Ulitin ko na siguro pag na ulit ko, hindi naman kayo nakikinig. On this note, gusto ninyong umuwi na hapon na. On this note, allow me to emphasize the importance of genuine unity and camaraderie in the realization of our party's objective. You just do not push somebody there. O sige, ikaw na muna magpresidente. That is not how things are done. So, by that singular act of just designating an acting president, there is no law in the bylaws at saka itong constitution which would provide for an acting president solely upon the push and shove of the president. Ang nagkamali dyan si Coco, hindi si Pacquiao. Pacquiao does not know anything. Kung anong totoo, kung ano mang sabihin, hindi naman nagbabasa yan eh. Basta kung ano sabihin lang ng mga ano niya, sunod. Si Coco, and may I just remind Cocoy na itong parting PDP was asleep for 100 years. It only woke up during the election and a run for the presidency under the ticket. It was a father and son party, period. Wala nang iba. And they are not even recognized in Cagayan de Oro City. Totoo yan. Hindi ako I'm not trying to throw an insult. Pero yan ang totoo talaga. Hindi ka na twin, magtakbo yan ako kay baski barangay captain, talo yan sa kanila. Wala eh. I'm urging all our party officials and members to remain focused on our mission of uplifting the quality of life of the Filipino people, especially now that they are still grappling with the challenges brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, even, I'm sure many, not all, but many, a lot of you were listening to the debates. I would just like to bring your minds back to that eventful days. I never promised many things. Never said itong ano. Ang sabi ko, una, habulin ko itong droga. Kasi marami na itong pinatay na inosente. Pangalawa, itong kriminal. Na lahat ng mga karnaper, mga babae, binabaril. Sabi ko, papatayin ko ito. Pero wala akong naabutan sa kanila. Gusto kong patayin pero mas malakas tumakbo kay sa akin. So yung police nag-take over. I don't know who the policemen are. Sabi ko, tatapusin ko itong graft and corruption. You know, it takes time to discover a wrongdoing, especially if you are in front of a maze of documents. You would need accountants. Lawyers are not even competent really to sort out all of these things and be reminded of all itong mga circular ng COA. Hindi madadali yan. Pero yung inabot, kagaya noong pastillas, 43 of them were dismissed. Sa customs naman, 73. Then a host of a weekly dismissal na hindi ko na binabasa minsan for lack of material time sa ating mga, haka-haka dito doon. So, ganun ang ginawa ko. Sabi ko, free education. Putang ina, ginawa ko, nandyan na, free education. Sabi ko, free hospitalization with malasakit to boot. Nandyan na, binigay ko na. Ano pa bang gusto ninyo? Tapos sabi ko, well, I do not know the state of affairs regarding whether there is still money or not. But I am reminded of the EDSA narratives na it was so broken that it would need a lot of money, emergency, sa madaling panahon to repair it. And so somebody, lahat na, from sila Tugadi, kailangan natin ito ng pera. And hindi pa nga kami at least to put our ideas forward. Sinabi na kagad ni Grace na, hindi, itong malaki itong pera na ito, magko-corruption lang ito. Sinabi ko, kung gano'n, wag na lang. I mean, if that is what you believe in, so forget it. Maghanap na lang ako ng iba. So, makita ninyo yung mga skyway dyan sa itaas. Those were really our efforts to atone our sin for failing to repair EDSA. So, EDSA was the catalyst dyan sa So, nandyan na. Kita mo naman ang, I don't know if si Villar nandito. Wala. Ganda ng highways niya. Makita mo talaga. Endless. Almost so many kilometers na diretso-diretso talaga. And of course, Tugadi here, he made the Philippines beautiful. Yung mga turista natin, they are happy with what they see. Yung ating mga airports, maganda lahat. And what is very striking is that nung una, ito totoo talaga. Nung nag-upo ako, sinabi ko kay Duke, sa kanila, i-distribute mo lahat ang pera. Lahat. So, lahat makatikim. Whether they voted for us or not, is of no moment actually. It does not matter. Bigay natin lahat. So, yan, makita ninyo. Ayaw ko na sabihin kung saan. And just to beg the issue. Basta nandyan na, nakita na ninyo lahat na. Ito ngayon, may misgivings about this. Itong naiwan, itong droga, corruption, pati itong insurgency. At itong criminality, ano talaga, matindi. I don't know what I can really do. What if Vice President can do, can have an impact on the policies of the President. Because the Constitution is very silent. He does not have a job at all. The job of the Vice President is to lie down on his official residence and wait hanggang mamatay siya. Yan lang ang trabaho ng Presidente, maghintay hanggang mamatay siya. Hindi yung Presidente. Pero kung ang Presidente, di mas okay. Pero tignan naman natin kung sino yung Presidente. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng Presidente gusto mong mamatay. I'm urging all our party officials and members to remain focused on our mission of uplifting the quality of the life of the Filipino people, especially now that we are still grappling with the challenges brought by the COVID-19 pandemic. I have read that. Let us not be blinded by our own ambitions, and let us not allow this party to be used to advance personal interest. You know, sa totoo lang, yung akin is was just a reaction to the foolish statements of itong mga dilawan, threatening me as if I am parang bata ba ako na pagbaba mo may kaso ka. Putang ina mo, Trillanes, akala mo abogado ka, sige, subukan mo. Tignan natin kung magawa mo ba yan. So that it was almost a knee-jerk reaction. Nasabi ko, bakit? Kung tatakbo ako ng Vice President, kaya ninyo? Yun. Ngayon, from a knee-jerk reaction to an applause every time I mention the Vice President. Considering the magnitude of the responsibility that awaits the next batch of the elected officials in 2022 elections, we must remain focused on how to continue the reforms that we have instituted in the last 5 years. Alam mo, itong parte na ito, medyo nabuhayan lang pagka-presidente ko. But now it has grown big. I think it can compete with the other parties, except that meron silang nandyan si may yung financer nila ganon. But if you really try also to be strong, lahat yan patron ninyo yan. Ang PDP sayang nandyan malakas, marami. At nandito ako. So we can really make a position. Those running for election, kakampanya ko kayo. City for city. Totoo yan. Kaya yung mga nagtatakbo, I commit to you. Talagang pupunta ako city for city, province for province. Kakampanya ko kayo. Pero tsaka magdala ako ng maraming pera. For sako, kung meron. To my dear party mates, let us never lose sight of the founding principles upon which this party was built on. And let us never forget that our end goal is always the improved welfare of the Filipino people. Alam mo to, bakit naka-left? Well, ayaw ko, ilan lang sa atin dito. Art is a billionaire. He was our valedictorian. Pero says that galing siya sa squatters area. ako, kami, pamilya namin, may grants lang kami sa Davao. Dumaan lang kami ng ganun. Although, the ever-changing fortunes of life, naging governor ang tatay ko. But only because na maraming Bisaya outside of Davao City. Noon, I am the first Bisayan mayor of the city of Davao since its inception. Hindi talaga nanalo yung ano. Not because, but maybe the camaraderie and yung band ng mga pure Davaoenos doon. Carlo Nograles, nanay niya, Davaoen niya. Minsan magsama kami, minsan hindi. But yun ang history. Nung ako na ang Bisaya na mayor ng Davao, wala na rin nakapalit. I went on for 23 years to become mayor, then congressman, 4 years, then 4 years vice mayor ni Inday Sara, then another, ito ngayon. So ganun ako katagal sa politika. And I was a prosecutor for 9 years. You add that, and that is my toil in government. So itong Partido Nacional, itong PDP, dalhin lang ito ng mabuti. I don't know the fortunes of, hindi natin alam kung anong gagawin sa kabila. Baka nagtatype na si Coco ng petition doon sa COMELEC. But tingnan natin. Let us see. Let us see what siya yung nag-umpisa ng Rocos. Magsabi ka lang, sige Jay, ikaw na muna dyan. That is not the way how to run a party. Hindi naman bubo yung mga membro. Mas bright sa iyo. Yan lang ang top notcher na nakita ko na o baka igit lang rin ako kasi 75 lang ako. Really, you do not have to punish your son. 75. Hayaan mo lang yan. Basta every year, 75 lang talaga ang cut-off. Kasi yan, aakyat yan eh. Ako, totoo, hindi ako nagpapatawa. 7 years ako sa high school. 75. Dumaan ako ng maraming sa Ateneo si Dominguez. Yan ang valedictorian namin since kindergarten. Doresa, nung na-expelled ako sa Ateneo, pumunta ako doon sa Brothers of the Sacred Heart. Valedictorian. Marami akong dinaanan valedictorian. Ako ang dinaanan nila. Pero sa awa ng Diyos, Bebot was also my kaharap kami sa dormitoryo. Dulay. Mga probinsyano yan. Sila ang the sad thing about sa kanila is mga marurunong, mga summa cum laude, gaya ni Art, bilyonaryo, valedictorian namin. Trabahante ko lang yan. Always keep in mind that it is only through a united front that we can achieve this goal and lead this nation towards lasting progress. There's going to be a lot of suits far and wide in between now and in the election. Ako na they will fight tooth and nail dito sa ano. especially Coco, parang kanila talaga yan eh. At totoo naman. It was the founding Pimentel, the old man who really, yung ginawa niya ito, is a work of love sa kanya. Pero ang problema, ang anak ang walang diskarte na tama. I do not know what prompted him to just post Pacquiao there, place a place of acting president. You cannot have an acting president. You have to elect people. Yung biglaan na doon nagka-watak-watak. And I think Secretary Kose did not like it. So from there it spiraled into a more vicious narratives of charge and counter-charge. So, yun lang po. Maraming salamat sa inyo.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Now, we will invite the new members of PDP-Laban to please stand on your respective seats, at the side of your respective seats, facing the chairman, and take your oath, led by Executive Secretary Salvador Mijaldea, Transportation Secretary Art Tugade, Presidential Legal Counsel Sal Panelo. Yeah. Yeah. Tayo lang po kayo dyan sa tapat po ng iyong upuan. Secretary Bebot Bello.
Ikaw lang isa, Sal, dyan. Okay.
Yun pa pong ibang mga members ng yung mga hindi pa po nakapag-take oath ng office na mga membro ng PDP-Laban. With the President, you may also take your respective oath. Ako rin po, kahit matagal na po ako membro ng PDP 2001, magtitake oath pa rin po ako, mahal na Pangulo, this is my chance to take my oath as member of PDP-Laban before the President and the Chairman of the party.
You cannot decide whether to stand here or there.
Pwede na silang tumayo. Dito na lang po sa, diyan na lang po sa inyong tapat ng maupuan. Hindi na lang po kayo kailangan umalis po dyan.
Hoy, yung camera may finokus kayo kanina na muka. Saan yun? Sal, dito ka na lang, Sal, para yung camera. Sino yung finokus inyo kanina? Just before I started to talk. Pero cabinet ito pala.
Governor Tavera, please come forward. Yung pa pong ibang mga members po na PDP-Laban na hindi pa po nakapag-take oath, please come forward. Or you can stand on your respective seats and then coordinate with the Astravel Naik. Okay.
Kompleto na kayo?
We are ready now, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.
When you are ready, raise your left hand and repeat after me. Ako si... I'm very sorry. Hirapan ako magbasa ng Tagalog. Give me the English version. Mahirapan ako magbasa ng Tagalog. Pagkakamakakabayan. Saan yung English kanina?
Sa ano yung sa officers niya?
Oh, Ito. Oo, sabihin ko. Ako na amang ano. O sige, subukan natin. Huwag kayong tumawa ha. Bisaya ako, but I never learned how really to read Tagalog. Ang mahirap sa akin. Raise your right hand. Pakitaas ng iyong kaliwang kamay. Ako si na tinatanggap bilang kasapi ng Partido Demokratikong Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan. Ay sumusumpa na itaguyod ko ang saligang batas ng partido na kung saan nakahalad ang aking paniwala at panindigan para sa kalayaan, pag-iisa, katarungan, pagkapantay-pantay at pananagutan. Ako na lang magbasa, Joshua. Pananagutan, panlipunan, kasarinlan, mabisig pagkilos, pagkamakabayan, at federalismo. Sundin ko ang mga alintuntunin at patakaran at ipagtatutupad ko ang kinakaulang pamunuan ng partido. Itaguyod ko at magkakaisa sa mga pagkilos ng partido. Iaalay ko ang aking sarili na masalimuot, ngunit kinakailangang tungkulin para sa ikonlad ng bawat mamayang Pilipino at kalayaan ng bayan. Lahat na ito ay aking tinatanggap at kusang loob na walang pagsubali. Kasiyahan nawa ako ng Diyos. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President.